January 12th, 2015 was the last time I put any sort of mood or mind-altering substance in my body. And so I've been clean for almost 10 years now. When I was a kid, no part of me ever saw heroin addict as my job title. I feel like I'm making up for all the times that my only view were the four walls of my bedroom and a little pile of powder in front of me on a table. My whole life fit into like a little bag, and I would break it up into powder and it would go up my nose, and that was my whole life for years. My name is Justin Crompier. I'm an American lifestyle and landscape photographer from New Jersey, and I've been traveling the US and North America for 3 years, living out of my camper van. People have this idea of like van life and travel as it's told through the eyes of an influencer on Instagram. And the reality is it's not really like that at all. I mean, there are moments that are a lot like that where you're parked somewhere really epic and beautiful and there's a sunset. And I've enjoyed lots of those moments. I mean, those aren't fake moments. They really happen. But the other side of van life, the other side of travel, the other side of being an addict on the road is I'm with myself a lot. And sometimes that's a scary place to be. My day-to-day looks not too much different than anybody else's day-to-day. I just don't wake up in a house. You know, I wake up, I make coffee, brush my teeth, go to the gym, do errands. I might have to do laundry. And then I try to get outside every day, whether that's a hike or if I'm shooting. Yeah, the only difference really is that my house is on wheels and it's always moving. Drugs and drug use didn't really become a part of my life in an active addiction kind of way until my college years. I was definitely running from something within me, something about me that I wasn't comfortable with. Drugs were never really my problem. They were actually my solution. And the problem was me. It was my way of thinking, and it was the way that I saw myself. You know, it was fun. It was an experiment. It was a good time. I didn't recognize where it was heading though. And eventually what started off as something that was really fun and exciting and kind of got me out of myself, it turned into something much darker. I would be driving to my dealer's house crying because I was using against my will once again. There was absolutely nothing I can do to stop it. It had taken a life of its own at that point, and I was no longer in control of my own life. There were a few moments in my life toward the end of my active addiction in which, you know, I got like little glimpses of what my life could be like. I remember in 2015, after having relapsed, I'd already been to rehab before. I had relapsed, I was on another run, I was in active addiction again, and I went to see the movie Wild with Reese Witherspoon, where she hikes the PCT. It's based on Cheryl Strayed's life story. Growing up, I loved nature. I had big dreams. And I remember seeing that movie where this woman was doing something epic outside, in touch with nature. I remember thinking that will never be my life. That realization, it wasn't the thing that got me clean, but it was one of those moments where like I really was contemplating my life, and it led to me having some moments of clarity that eventually I was willing to check myself into rehab and become honest with my family and the people around me that I was struggling and that I really needed help. So when it comes to actually getting clean and having that moment of clarity, it's such a complex thing. There are so many instances and moments where the universe or God or whatever you believe in kind of intervenes in a really complex succession of events. Because when you're in active addiction, you are not seeing anything clearly. Sometimes it will take an arrest or it'll take a car accident, or it'll take a DUI or something awful happening to just shake your world up enough for you to have a moment where you can kind of put things into perspective and see what your life has become. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an architect. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a sports athlete. I never, ever could have imagined that I would have ended up a strung out heroin addict with no life direction and absolutely no goals. Any privilege that I might have been born with, I put up my nose. And I had kind of accepted that. If you had told me that my life would look like it does right now, 10 years ago, I would have told you that you watch too many Disney movies. Because there's no way that who I was would be traveling North America, living his dream, like doing what he loves to do. I couldn't have imagined it in my wildest dreams. My life was confined to my bedroom and the family car that I used to drive around to pick up money from all the different people that would give me money to go buy drugs for them so that I can rip them off, so that I can get free drugs for myself. My world was so small during my active addiction. And now I've spent 2 winters in Mexico. I'm going to Greece this year. I went up to Canada twice last year. I go wherever I want. And it's not about the places. It's just the juxtaposition from like my world being the size of my bedroom to there is no limit. If there was anything that I could say to anybody, it's that if this pre-diabetic 235-pound heroin addict could get clean, find freedom from active addiction, find a whole new way of living, then it's possible that you can overcome whatever circumstances you might be facing. And that could be similar to mine, or it might not look anything like mine. It could be losing weight. It could be leaving your job to do something that fills you with more purpose. It could be creating more art. It could be just getting outside more. It could be asking that girl out. It could be starting that business. Whatever it is, if I could do it, I feel like anybody could do it. If I had the opportunity to talk to my younger self, I would tell him to hold on, because your entire life is about to change, and that your story doesn't end here in active addiction. It ends so much bigger and so much grander than you could have ever possibly imagined. I recognize that I have an opportunity to give away what was so freely given to me by the people that came before me. And so the spirit of recovery to help somebody else. I absolutely love using what little voice I have for that to be my message. And even beyond that, the whole point is that if I could do it, you could do it.
When you feel love coming down on you like a heavy weight, when you feel this crazy society heading to the strand, so which way is the wind blowing? What does your heart say?
The birds just, everybody stay down. Dude, what the fuck just happened? Wait till you see